Hi guys, Giant T here with a battle report for the 9th age. The might of my Dwarven Holds take on the foul stench of the Vermin swarm in a mammoth mega game where we've got 5,000 points aside. This is a game, a rematch for the short game I posted up a couple of weeks ago. Sorry about that guys, but we did run short on that, and I promise you we will finish this game. Instead of taking pictures in this game, I've actually took video because there's no way I'm going to remember everything that's gone on through that game through photos. So I'm just going to give you a quick view of my General's Runic Master spells here, and then the Runic Smith spells. And then after that, my opponent's got a level 4 Magister on disease, and his Vermin Lord is level 1 as well in the same Right, going from right to left for the Vermin Swarm, we've got a Dreadmill, a unit of Giant Rats, coming over to 2 mortars on the weapons teams and 2 rattling guns, with a big unit of Vermin Guard. Next to them we've got a unit of Slaves and Dreadmill. Plague Disciples in front of the nasty twin towers there of the Doom Bell and the I'm going to call it the Plague Pendulum, and they've got, are they normal clan rats? Yeah, normal clan rats in them. Next to that we've got the dreaded cannon and more slaves, 2 Thunder Hulks, Abomination. We've got some skirmishing gutter runners there with some swarms at the back. We've got the claw catapult with a Vermin Lord, 2 more Thunder Hulks on the far left with the big Vermin Hulks there, and they are called
Guardians.
They're the Guardians, are they? Yeah. Cool. So that's the Vermin swarm. 5,000 points well spent. So we're going to come to the dwarf side. I'm going to go from right to left again. We've got 24 Seekers with 20 Rangers, and they are vanguarded. Not vanguarded, but they've come forward. We're an attack copter, 25 Marksmen with a Engineer in, the Master Engineer. We've got 30 Deep Watch with the King on Shield Bearers and a Runic Smith. Next to them we've got a Vengeance Seeker. Next to them 40 Warriors with Great Weapons, Thrown Weapons, with a Thane Clan Leader and a Thane BSB in there. Coming on to my Greybeards there, 30 of them. 2 Organ Guns on the hill. Another Vengeance Seeker just tucked behind with a unit of 30 Kingsguard. My General Runic Master there, 6 Hold Guardians, coming into an attack copter with a Grudge Buster, and then 13 Forge Wardens on the far side. So guys, that is our units. Deployment is classical deployment, and we've got a secure target objective. So only 1 unit vanguarding, and that's what it looks like. So guys, Dwarven Holds managed to get first turn. So on the right flank with the Seekers, just brought them down there with the Rangers in front. The reason I put the Seekers there is in case the Dread Mill gets into the Rangers on the flank. I've left my copter where he was because I was a bit unsure about these weapons teams over here at the moment. Marksman have gone into the forest. Vengeance Seeker and my Deep Watch, my Warriors and my Greybeards have all just moved up the table as quick as they can. My Kingsguard have come out with the Hold Guardians following, and my Forge Wardens have hopped into the building to shoot with my Grudge Buster and the copter there just behind the hedge to try and clear out a bit of chaff if we can. So for magic guys, I managed to roll 8 for the power flux, getting Rune of Gleaming off on these guys. Also trying to get Rune of Gleaming off on my warriors there, but I got dispelled quite majorly. And also I was trying to get Rune of Resilience off on the Greybeards as well, which I failed to cast. So out of 8 power dice, only the one goes through. So into Dwarven Holds shooting. The steam copter there shoots at the mortar there, the only thing in range, and causes a wound, but he saves it. The one lone ranger managed to get a pop shot off him again, and he saves it. The marksman here with the engineer shoots at the big vermin guard at the back and causes 7 wounds. Then we go on to the 2 organ guns, and they both shot at the vermin hulks over here, causing 5 wounds. Only from one of them though. The other one failed to wound out of 16 shots. Filth. And the Grudge Buster and the Copter there both shot at the runners there and failed to wound. The Forge Wardens shot into the Thunder Hulks and caused 2 wounds. Right, going into Vermin Swarm turn 1 for movement. The Thunder Hulks and the Vermin Hulks and the Vermin Lord, along with the old Globadiers, have all moved up here on the flank. The Rat Swarms have come up along with the Abomination and the Thunder Hulks here. The runners have come right up into the face of the King's Guard, hoping to shoot at the War Machines, I'd imagine. So in the turn the bell rung for frenzy, so all these units here had to test and were okay, and as you can see they've all moved up like so. One of the weapons teams have come onto the hill, I'd imagine to come shoot here at the Greybeards. The Dreadmill comes to the top of the hill. The Vermin Guard have just moved up as far as they can, and the weapons teams have moved into place for shooting. Here on the right flank the Dreadmills come up, was it like 5 inches or something like that, I think it was, and the Giant Rats have come up as far as they can to try and tempt in the Slayers for a charge. So into the Vermin Swarm magic phase, he manages to get off the Breath of Corruption on his Warlord here. I'm sure he's going to be shooting at the Rangers there. I'll let it go because I reckon he's only going to get a couple of wounds on it. You know, it's toxic attacks, but I haven't got a fantastic armor saving them anyway. Coming over here, we tried to get off the Leprotic Curse onto the Greybeards, which I dispelled. And over on the Vermin Hulks, he's got off the 5 ward save, which is Madness of Flesh, and the attribute goes on to his Vermin Lord for Toughness 7. So going into Vermin Swarm shooting, the Dreadmill managed to restrain. This mortar here managed to do 2 wounds to the Seekers. Unfortunately, this mortar here rolled a double and caused a wound to itself. This rattling gun here did shoot at the Deep Watch and did 1 wound. Again, this one the Dreadmill manages to restrain. This dude here shot at the Greybeards and caused 4 wounds. The cannon went to shoot at the flyers there and missed completely. The catapult here again comes to shoot at the Greybeards, but manages to land way over here. So going into these 2 units. This one shoots at the Forge Wardens in the house and misses, where this rattling gun does the same thing, causes 1 wound. These guys shot at the Greybeards and did nothing, and these little pesky gits manages to kill an organ gun and panics for fine all around. So guys, at the Dwarven Holds turn 2, that's what the battlefield looks like. So charges declared are the Seekers into the Giant Rats. I know it's a bit of a waste of the unit for the Seekers, but I think those Giant Rats could be a bit pesky for me in a minute, so I want to try and get rid of them as quick as possible. And I'm hoping maybe to get an overrun onto the Dread Mill, hopefully. Again, a bit of a waste for the Seeker going into the Slaves, but he's going to hold them up all day, and for 60 points he can stay there, to be honest. The Warriors I want to try and put into the Slaves as well, because if I can break them I can get the overrun again. The Greybeards are going to go into these fellas here, the Plague Disciples. The Hammerers are going into the Runners, and that's all my charges. Let's see what happens. So after charges, the Seekers got in, no problem. The Vengeance Seeker got into the Slaves. These little fat buggers only managed to roll a 3, so failed their charge. These ones managed to get in exactly what they needed on a 7, and the King's Guard were automatically in with the champion on a 4. Okay guys, for normal movement then, the Deep Watch just moved up, I think it was like 6 inches there. The Clan's Marksmen stayed where they are because I'm going to continue shooting at this unit. They failed charge. Hold Guardians there, as you can see, moved up just behind the King's Guard to come in as a second wave for anything. And he's actually put his banner of no flying up, which has hindered me a little bit this turn, so they're staying there, as is the other copter on the other side, and that's the dwarf movement.
Actually thinking, yeah, why not?
Yeah. So magic guys, I rolled 5, didn't get any channels on either side. On the Greybeards there, I've got Runes of Oaths kept and the Rune of Metal, just in case I can destroy these disciples and overrun into the big boy at the back. Right, second turn of shooting for the Dwarven Holds sees the Forge Wardens again shooting at the Thunderhawks there, causing no wounds. The Grudge Buster shoots at the A-bomb there and causes a wound. This little thing shoots at the A-bomb and does nothing. Onto the Organ Gun, managed to roll 11 and shoots at this dude and causes only a wound with flaming attacks. The Rangers shoot off the mortar there, manages to kill that. The Marksmen there shoot at the guard unit and causes 4 wounds, and the copter there shoots at the same unit, at the other mortar there, and does nothing to him. Into combat then for the Dwarven Holds. The Seekers do beat the Giant Rats there, but they steadfast on a 10, so they stay. Coming into here, the Vengeance Seeker beats them by 3, but again steadfast. The Greybeards, as you can see, overran due to destroying the disciples, but took a fair few wounds in the process. The Hammerers there killed the runners, but they took 4 wounds in the stand and shoot, and they took 3 wounds on the combat. So at the start of the Vermin Swarms turn 2, the bell rings again and gets Frenzy again. So unfortunately for the Vermin Swarm player, the weapons team here has to charge the flank of the Greybeards. He also has declared a charge with his Thunderhawks against the building, the Forge Wardens in it, where we stand on shot. We managed to cut off one of the dudes and leave the other one on 2 wounds, I think it was. Coming into the Vermin Swarm turn 3, I think? 2, sorry, turn 2. The weapons teams move up like so, and so do the Vermin Guard. The Doom Dreadmill, sorry, comes into the Deep Watch on its compulsories. These slaves stick here, still in combat. These slaves don't move. Vermin Holds don't move. His swarms come up to chaff up my Kingsguard. These dudes come moving up the flank, as do these little globadiers. And the Vermin Lord comes up quite quickly as well. Not on the left side of the board there.
Little break.
Little break, yeah. dinner. So, Vermin Swarm's magic, he rolled 6 for his dice and managed to channel 1. He tries to get the breath weapon onto his weapons team to shoot this and to give that an extra toughness, but I dispelled that one just because I don't want the extra toughness on that. And the other one he put on was the curse onto, sorry mate, which unit again was it?
Vermin Guard.
Onto the Vermin Guard, again for the attributes, onto the pendulum, but he managed to dispel that one. So into the shooting phase, this Dreadmill misfired and rolled a 5 or a 6, so we had to pivot randomly, and anything under the line template got hit, which fortunately for me was nothing. This mortar didn't do anything. This rattling gun shot into these guys and did a wound. This Dreadmill here shot into these guys, the Deep Watch, and did 2 wounds. The catapult there came and shot on the warriors, got a direct hit and killed 5. We took 2 wounds from the Vermin Holds here, and the Grudge Buster took 2 wounds from these guys here. So all in all, not too bad a turn of shooting for the Vermin Swarm. So going into Vermin Swarm combat on turn 3 now. Sorry, still 2. The Seekers beat out the Giant Rats and end up just reforming to face the Dreadmill, so I want to get rid of that. This Dreadmill here caused a fair bit of damage with his impact hits and his just his impact hits really. His rats didn't do a great deal, and the dwarfs did a wound to him. In the big combat with his frenzy, re-rolling, hatred, pendulum and help from the Doom Bell, they absolutely smashed the Greybeards a new one, which failed their leadership 9 stubborn re-roll and ended up sprinting 11 inches away, and luckily for me, not getting caught. I'll just give you a quick overview of what the battlefield looks like. Still quite heavy on that flank there, coming down the centre and on my right side of the flank. So coming into Dwarven Holds turn, the Seekers charge into the Doom Wheel and make it. The Rangers charge the weapons team, and which chose to fled, and I charge them down with a fantastic 11 and end up out of line of sight of these bad boys, which is good because I'm now behind his lines. The Kingsguard obviously made it into these things and hopefully should destroy the crap out of them. And the long charger from the Grudge Buster, which I'm not really too sure about his combat. To go, we're both on 2 wounds. I think we've both got the same battle. I've got 3 wounds left, you've got 4 wounds left, so we'll see how that one goes. And that's it for the Dwarf Chargers. So, not a great deal of movement for the Dwarfs. We managed to rally the Greybeards here. I'm not sure if I wanted them rallied, to be honest, so I wanted the Warriors to get into the action. But we'll see how that unfolds. The Klangsmarkmen stay deep within the woods to keep shooting at the Vermin Guard. The Copter there, he stayed there as well for one more turn to hopefully get a few shots off the Vermin Guard as well. Or maybe even little rattling gun there. I'll move this copter in front of the Vermin Holds. They're not. Are they the Hulks? Oh, they're the Thunder Hulks, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vermin Hulks. Sorry, guys. It's it's quite difficult remembering all the names in a big game like this. The reason I put him there is just in case my Grudge Buster fails to kill the A-bomb. And I need something there to stop him getting a flank attack. And these guys I've just put straight in front of the globe shooters. And I've moved up with the Vengeance Seeker.
That's my button.
Yeah. So Dwarven Magic, I tried to get Rune of Resilience and the Rune of Gleaming off on my Grudge Buster to try and give it a bit of help, but my opponent managed to dispel both of them. I do get the Rune of Metal for re-rolling armor saves against this bad boy though. Not that I really needed this turn, but it's more to do with drawing out the dice. But we can see what happens there. Hopefully my king won't fluff too many attacks in this one. So shooting guys, saw the Forge Wardens take off the very last Vermin Hulk. Obviously the Demon there is immune to panic, and so are the Frenzy dudes, and these Globe Throwers are way out of range. The Organ Gun here went for the, wait for it, the Pendulum, and out of 18 shots caused 1 wound. Fantastic, well done boys. The Clan's Marksman took off a grand total of 6 wounds out of there, and the Engineer took the other 2. The Copter then shot at the same unit and did absolutely nothing. So Dwarven Holds combat, see the Seekers here kick the crap out of the Dreadmill and turn to face to come onto the combat hopefully here. The Deep Watch beat the Dreadmill here in combat. The Dreadmill only has 1 wound left on it, which broke and ran through his weapons team, which panicked. And unfortunately for the Vermin Swarm, I managed to get into the slaves here, which just held on combat res. The Kingsguard here annihilated the Rat Swarms as well and just turned to face, and the Grudge Buster here only took 1 wound against the A-bomb and managed to dish out. He's on 1 wound already, Dan, yeah?
Yeah,
and managed to give him 3 wounds, and he held on his stubborn roll. So coming into the Vermin Swarm's turn, the Vermin Guard charged the flank of the King's Guard there. Sorry, not the King's Guard, the Deep Watch. Unsure about it. I've got the Hold Stone in that unit, so I will be fighting as normal as if they're in the front rank and parrying as well. So we'll see what happens. But I've got this as a counter charge, or the Warriors as well. The Vermin. I can't remember which one these are, but they charge into the Copter there and get in, and the Lord charges into the Wardens, who make the stand and shoot reaction and don't wound anything. We're going on to his rallies. Both the Dreadmill and the weapons team rally, and the giant rats don't and run off for another 5 or 6 inches.
Yeah, for right.
Moving for the Vermin Swarm, sees the Pendulum and the Doom Bell just shimmy up a few inches. The Globe Throwers, which I've now come to nickname them, have just reformed a little bit wider, ready for the charge that might happen. I can't see any other way around them at the moment, and I think that's it, folks. I know the Hulks moved up a little bit, and so did the slaves to come into the face of the King's Guard. And just to give you a quick overview, guys, of what's going on. So coming to the centre of the table and onto my right flank. Okay guys, so magic phase for the Vermin Swarm sees the Breath of Corruption going off from the weapons team and the attribute for +1 toughness on the pendulum. He also tried to get poison attacks off from there, and my Runic Master said no way, and dispelled that one. And his Vermin Demon tries to get off 5-up regen on these guys, attribute on himself, and fails by 1. You've got to love our Hewn of the Mountain rule for that. And that's Vermin Swarm's magic. Okay, shooting from the Vermin Swarm sees nothing from these two guys as they rallied. Coming onto this weapons team, did a breath weapon onto the Greybeards and killed both of them outright. The catapult there killed fucking 12 of these warriors, which I'm not happy about, but it is what it is. The cannon here killed 5 of the Kingsguard. The Hulks killed the Seeker with something stupid like 21 or 22 shots, and then the Globe Throwers killed one of my Hold Guardians. Going into
It was rude.
it was rude, yeah. Vermin Swarms combat.
Swarms?
Yeah, Vermin Swarm, isn't it? Yeah.
Hulks.
Yeah, into the.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
You're recording again.
No, that's fine, whatever. It's live and it's late, and this game's just getting more and more epic. So anyway, yeah. So into the combat, the Hulks here smashed through both my flyers, ran through one, charging to the other. So that's how this is flanked looking up here. And then we go on to what I think just surprised the fuck out of both me and my opponent was that my Vengeance Seeker and my Deep Watch just annihilated the unit of slaves and the unit of Vermin Guard with the Warlord on his platform. They broke from combat and I chased them down, and I restrained with this dude here to get a charge on my turn. So quick overlook of the board. That flank's looking quite nice now for me. Centre's still looking a bit with there, and the right flank still looking a bit, sorry, my left flank still looking a bit congested. So guys, we have to come back to this one here, so we forgot the Vermin Lord attacking the Forge Wardens. He does 4 wounds, I do 2 to him, and I pass my break test, as you would being a dwarf player. So top of Dwarven Holds turn 4, charges are Kingsguard. Regrettably, I don't really want them going into the slaves, but I think at this point I'm going to need to put them in. And my Hold Guardians going in against the Globe Throwers here on a stand and shoot reaction. So turn 4 movements for the dwarfs, guys. A quick swift reform for these and a move up. 9-inch march for these guys. Again here with a quick swift reform and just a move. Sorry, no move on them. These guys stayed where they are. The attack copter comes flying over here to maybe mess around with the frenzy unit a bit later on, possibly. These guys just stay here because they've got a 12-inch shot at that. And that is it so far, guys. Okay. Okay, magic sees me getting the Rune of Reckoning off on this unit, and my opponent dispelling the Rune of Resistance for the Kingsguard unit, and also dispelling the Rune of Gleaming for this combat here. Okay, so Dwarven Holds shooting sees the Rangers there shot at what was the Doom Wheel but didn't cause any wounds. The marksman here, well I say the marksman, the engineer shot at the doom wheel and killed it, so the marksman don't get to shoot at anything. My throwing weapon warriors killed the weapons team, which, you know, is not fantastic, you know, it's a waste of shots, but it's a bit of chaff out the way. And then the organ gun did a number on the A-bomb, and the Hulks just about managed to pass their leadership test. Turn 4 combat for the dwarves sees the Kingsguard killing only 10 of the slaves, which is the reason I didn't really want to go into them. They get a casualty in return. The Vermin Lord takes a wound off the wardens, takes nothing in return. And the monstrous infantry Hold Guardians destroyed the globe throwers and managed to overrun into the flank of the Vermin Hulks. So charges on the top of turn 4 for the Vermin Swarm sees the Plague Pendulum and the Rat Warriors, the Clan Rats, charge into the Vengeance Seeker, which holds. Manages to fail the rally on these guys and they run. This guy here rallies, and we'll go on to movement next. So movement for the Vermin Swarm sees him swiftly reforming his bell units like so, and coming up to my left side of the table now, and the Vermin Hulks come up to the push up the middle slowly. That's all the movement there is. Go on to magic. Magic for the Vermin Swarm then, you get the breath weapon attack on his weapons team again, and we get putrefying, sorry, is it putrefying? Or?
Yeah, poison attacks.
Poison attacks on the pendulum unit there. I'm not really too worried unless he rolls, I think it's 7 or 8 to get on an overrun after that. And that's everything for his magic. So shooting sees the rattling gun go for the organ gun, and with 6s and 5s and 6s to hit and wound, gets nothing. The rattling gun doesn't shoot, but we've just come up with a bit of a dilemma. So he's got the breath weapon on there, so we're not sure, because the unit's rallied, if he's allowed to fire it. We've let it go for this game just because we're, you know, it's fun and why not. And it only killed 2 of this unit. This bloody thing here, again, for the umpteenth time in a row, direct hit and killed 7 of the Hold Guardians, and the cannon completely missed again. Combat sees the pendulum impacting out the Vengeance Seeker, but in return dishing out quite a few wounds itself and only leaving it on 1 wound left. Combat with the Kingsguard and the slaves sees 1 wound taken for the Kingsguard and like 14 taken for the slaves, and they pass their break test. This combat here, we're both quite interested in it. The Hold Guardian took 3 wounds and the Vermin unit took 5, and they stayed on the break test and reformed like so. Oh yeah, the Vermin Lord finally beat the Forge Wardens, which broke from combat, and just managed to stay on the table by about 4 inches, and he's turned to face the rear of the Hold Guardians. But does he have an organ gun in his rear? So charges to declare for the top of Dwarven Holds turn 5, the Deep Watch even, sorry guys. It goes on a flank charge. Now the line for the flank is actually straight down the middle of the centre of my unit, so we've had to roll a 4 up and luckily for me I've got the flank on that one, and we're going to charge in here. There's no more charges for the Dwarven Holds. So movement sees the Seekers coming up full belt to come and join the fight if they can. The Rangers come up to the top of the hill, so I want to try and move them across the back there on my next turn if I can. Probably not. Marksmen stay where they are because I'm quite happy with them there, taking on the objective. And the Copter stays there, so he's in range of the weapons team to try and hit that out. And that's it for my movement. To cut a short story shorter, tried to get Stubborn off in this unit and Distracting. Didn't cast one, and Distracting got dispelled. So shooting, I see the organ gun getting like 14 shots at the bell and wounding nothing, so the attributes going on from the Vermin Swarm's magic phase. The attack copter and the Clan's marksman can't even finish off a lonely weapons team, and that's it for my shooting. So combat for the Vermin Swarm sees the Hold Guardians get decimated by the Vermin Hawks, and they turn to face. The Kingsguard finally did a Slayer. Oh, sorry, no, this is the Dwarven Holds turn, sorry. So we lost in my turn here, beat the Slaves in my turn here, and got absolutely decimated by this unit of, I've been calling them clan rats all even, but they're actually the Plague Priests.
Monks.
Sorry, the Plague Monks. But they've done, with their stupid rerolls to hit, rerolls to wound, 20 odd attacks on the warriors, wounds on the warriors, 2 attacks on the Greybeards, but managed to kill the Pendulum, take a rank off the back. These guys are running, I'll just roll that now, they are running 6 inches, but these guys passed the Stubborn test. We also saw these guys rally in the movement phase. So top of, I was going to say Skaven, no it's not Skaven, sorry guys, it's Vermin Swarm turn 5. Quick overlook of the battlefield there, it's looking rather empty now. So these guys tried to charge these, who fled and managed to pass the leadership test to redirect into the organ gun, which unfortunately cannot stand and shoot. So we're now going on to Vermin Swarm movement. So for movement, sees his Vermin Lord come around the house to these guys. He's got 2 wounds left. I don't think I'm going to be shooting him off the table, but you never know. The bell and comes a bit closer to the objective there. The Vermin Hulks just move up a bit. Weapons team comes through there. And in the far corner, just zoom in there for you guys, the giant rats rally. Magic sees him trying to get the breath weapon on that, which I dispel, and he gets poison off on these. Now, I completely forgot he had poison attacks, which if I did remember after such a long time playing, I probably would have tried to dispel that instead. But as we all know, after playing for so long, things do get a bit hazy. So, like I said, magic gets poison off on that and dispel on the breath weapon. So alright guys, again, turn 5 shooting for the Vermin Swarm, sees his cannon come after these, sees his Hulks come after these, and his rattling gun comes after these, and he's killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, kills 10 of them, and we're good on the panic. The catapult there tries to hit the Seekers and misfires and takes a wound. Combat here sees the organ gun getting decimated, and we see the Deep Watch take on the Plague Monks and win, but the Plague Monks hold on steadfast. So top of turn 6 for the Dwarven Holds, just what the board looks like, a lot less units and models are on the table than to start with. So only one charge for the Dwarven Holds, and that's the Seekers going into the Plague Monks to try and help them out a little bit. Okay guys, so movement, these guys rally and I'll just move them up as far as they can go after the rally to try and push themselves out of the way. Same with the two characters here. Hold Guardian, last Hold Guardian just shimmies up so he's within 6 inches of that, and these guys are in the building so they're within 6 inches of that as well. And that's just how it looks very quickly. So I'll get a fantastic magic phase, rolling 9 and getting a channel for power flux. So I tried to get Gleaming off, which is dispelled, but the two spells I do get off on the the Deep Watch are Rune of Metal and the Rune of Resilience. So shooting, the Rangers shoot off the very last weapons machine, and this guy is in arc of sight for the bell, takes a shot but gets nothing. So at the end of Dwarven Holds combat, sees the Plague Monks getting decimated in combat but actually managing to survive their flee. Seekers end up hitting into the Kingsguard, and the Deep Watch roll double ones to chase them. So start of Skaven turn 6, quick overview of the battlefield guys. It's like 1:15 in the morning now, we've been playing since about 5. Rolls a 7, so he gets, is it Frenzy on your 7? Yeah, so everything from 12 gets Frenzy. These guys charge the Kingsguards which fled, and that's it for charges. So turn 6 for the storms, Vermin Swarm didn't take very long at all. I think we actually skipped magic, mate. Did you want to do any magic? No, so no magic, straight into shooting. Cannon misfire, these guys shot off that, so we've both got an objective each, so that doesn't matter. And this is what the battlefield looks like, guys, after a very long, hard fought, very fun game. So guys, after about, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours of playing, with a lunch break in between, it ends up being a very slim victory to the Dwarven Holds, which is fantastic. You can hear my voice getting a bit weary throughout the game. I think we ended up packing up about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we started playing about 5. So it was a mammoth game. It was an emotional roller coaster, really. For every turn my opponent had, I thought I didn't have a chance of coming back into it. My opponent felt the same. Both lists, even though on the larger scale, were very well balanced with each other. And it was just an awesome game to play. My favourite unit it was actually the Marksman with the Master Engineer in it. Absolutely fantastic unit that is. Well done to the guys at the 9th Age of sorting them out. I'll definitely be using them more often. I think my opponent's best unit was his either his Plague Monks or his Vermin Holds. I can't remember which one he said now, but I mean, I could be wrong on both those accounts, to be honest. It was very early in the morning when we packed up. But yeah, like I said, emotional roller coaster, absolutely fantastic game to play. No, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Obviously, there's a very slight difference in how I've done the film. the battle report than usual, because there's no way I'm going to be remembering everything that's gone on through photos. Feel free to leave comments, share it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye.